Are you wearing Spoo socks today?
No, I'm not.
It's an inspirational story, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us what you've developed.
So I made a game called Khumo Moerane, which is about preserving and exploring African folklore. So in the game, the character goes around finding pieces of this folklore, and when you finish the level, you get to read and enjoy the story.
So what was the thinking, what was the creative genesis behind something like this?
So as a video game developer, as an African video game developer, I feel like I have a responsibility to not just make a fun game that's just casual, so I need to add more things to it. So I want to make a game that had an educational element, and preserving our stories was a way of adding more to this product.
Why do you feel you have that responsibility?
Because first of all, video games as an industry, African stories they're non-existent. So we have a duty to actually put our stamp on this industry and bring our flavor and our energy to this.
How difficult was it then to get this started? One, from the coding side of it, but also just making sure that it gets to market, that people actually understand what you're doing.
Look, I'm a self-taught developer, so that was the initial part. But using YouTube and watching Unity tutorials, I taught myself to code. So that was the first journey or hurdle. But to get it to where it is now, as a self-taught developer, I was like, I need to learn how to make video games quicker. So I left my job, went to the UK to go study video game development there, and I came back, and while I was there, I started developing the game and refining it. So in coming back, it was just a matter of building a team around it and how about to market it and getting more partnerships with people. So we mentioned that.
Khumo, you make it sound so easy, but it wasn't. I mean, this is a long, hard road, surely, that you've traveled.
But I've been passionate about games forever. So it's been like, 30 years of playing games. So I just was so inspired when I found out I could start making my own games. So when I started making games in 2015, I was like, I have to make these games, and whatever it takes, I'll do it.
So not only are you involved in the creation of this game itself, but I'm correct in saying that you've enrolled for a PhD?
Yeah.
Stellenbosch University, and the interesting subject is learning more about African video game players. What have you discerned about that side of this industry? Because around the world, I mean, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, isn't it? But a lot of potential in this country. There's
a lot of potential in Africa. For us, it seems like it's a niche-market, whereas it's a global industry, like you just mentioned. So, while I was in the UK and doing research on creating a company, it's so easy to find information about European, American markets and all those things. So I was like, what about us? And that was so I've been about just how can we learn more about African players? What do they want? They're not.
What do they want?
That's a PhD. Yeah. That's the journey.
But I mean, you've got a sense of where you're going with this.
I feel like we want to see ourselves. We want to see our heroes, our stories. That's what I want to push. And obviously, I've got my one idea, but I also want to hear from other people. So the PhD includes people from Nigeria, Zimbabwe. So I just want to hear what the whole continent's thinking. So.
We are a violent continent, there's no doubt about that, and you make the very important point that there is no violence in your world.
Yeah.
That was a very deliberate decision that you took.
Again, like I said, the responsibility as a game developer, as an African game developer, is like, I need to help push a different story about ourselves. So I put obstacles in the game because life has obstacles. So it's like, it's a kid's game, so I'm teaching you that element, like, okay, find a way over them, but as an African, violence should not be our narrative, and our narrative is just amazing stuff, and using games to retell ourselves.
And Khumo, the future, I mean, this is phase one. I mean, once you've done the PhD, where do you take your career after this?
So with my partner company Stream Gaming, we're developing a mobile game, casual mobile game called Taxi Kings. So that's part of our expansion into like the casual games market. So it's like free running game where you just keep using a taxi to collect passengers. It's
no violence in that game either.
No.
Okay.
So it speaks to the casual gaming market, which is the biggest market in Africa or globally. So that's what we're pushing.
All right. Good luck, man.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic story. Khumo Moerane, thank you very much indeed. Khumo's World, and appreciate the insight, but I wish you well with the entrepreneurial side of it as
Cheers.
well.
Thank you so much.
All right.